Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. I'm your host, Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to break down those barriers and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're encouraging you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. We got this. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and I am a little nervous to chat with you on the mic today. I have been avoiding it all day, and it's not because I don't love you and love spending time with you. I think it's because today's topic that I feel needs to come out is a little uncomfortable. So I'm a little uncomfortable talking about it. And I like to be really transparent with you because when it comes to sitting down, and now this is episode 103, I still can't believe we have made it past 100. We've made it over a year, and how much this podcast has been growing in the last year. But I don't want you to sit here and be like, Jess has it all figured out. Jess knows what she's talking about. Jess knows what she's doing. She doesn't get nervous coming on the mic, because that's a whole bunch of lies. And so if there's something on your heart and you're just like, I really want to do this thing, or I'd love to start a podcast, or I'd love to start this business, or I'd love to leave my job and start something new, or I'd love to start a family, whatever that is that's on your heart that you're just like, I would love to do that, but I'm not confident. I don't have the skills. I don't have a website. I don't know how to talk to clients. I don't know how to market myself. I suck at social media. Insert whatever excuse you have. I just want to remind you that I don't have it figured out either. Actually, nobody does. Nobody has it figured out. And if they tell you that they do, they're a liar. Nobody has it all figured out. Of course, people have skills and are further along on their journey than you are, and maybe they went to school for it and they have an education and a background. Anyways, I just want to remind you, we don't all have it figured out, and we still get really nervous and we still get really uncomfortable, but we do it anyway. And so if there's something on your heart and you've been using a big but as an excuse to not go after it, I think it's time to switch things up and try in 2023 having belief in yourself, having a little more confidence to make mistakes and take risks, and try that thing that you have on your heart. I truly believe it's on your heart for a reason. And if you need help with that, send me a message. I'm more than happy to connect with you, get you into the sisterhood, get you into the collective, find out a way for you to learn a little bit more about yourself and connect on what it is that you need to work on in order to make this a reality. That being said, today's topic is all about that discomfort and that awkward middle feeling of where you were and where you want to go, and you're in the middle and you're trying to figure out your confidence, but you're not totally confident and it's just really uncomfortable. And before I get into this really uncomfortable topic that is very normal for all of us, but for some reason I just want to hide under a big pillow for right now and not talk about this for some reason, I wanted to share with you a product that I'm absolutely loving. I don't think I've ever shared products on this podcast before, but I have been working on finding some brands that I feel really personally connected with, and one of them is Sira nutrition products. I was looking for a change up in the nutrition products that I was using, so I ordered a whole bunch of products for me to try out and see what I liked and see, I knew it was a Canadian company, which I love. They're a smaller business and they stand behind health and fitness for all and making products like this accessible for everyone and very simple, which I loved. I never enjoyed an overcomplicated health product, and I've always been a supplement gal. I ain't gonna lie to you. I could probably take supplements instead of eating food for the rest of my life. Except for tacos. But I'm not even lying to you there. I've always been a person who loved supplements. So when I heard about this company, I wanted to give them a try and give them an honest try. And I've been taking a few of their supplements for a few months now, and I actually didn't want to really share a whole lot about it until I knew for sure. And there's actually 2 products of theirs that I can't live without anymore. And I think that's when I know that it's something that I need to share with you. So one that I'm sipping on today as I record this is the Red's Superfood Powder. What I love about this product is it really helped me in cold and flu season. I got it bad this year, and it's just not something that I normally have because I work really hard on keeping my immune system strong and I eat really well and all of these things. But anyways, I got it bad this year. So I incorporated this product into my recovery and it made a huge difference for me, I think. Now, I'm not a person to sit behind a claim and be like, it boosts your immunity and everything. But I can tell you a little bit about what's in the product. I actually have it here in front of me. It is my drink of choice at this time of day every single day because it's just sweet and it has really great flavor and I believe it's really good for you. So it has some different things like powdered cranberry in it, blueberry powder, cherry powder, apple fiber powder, carrot powder, ginger powder, blackberry powder, and then there's a blend of some different things in there that can really help you to get things moving, if you know what I'm talking about. 4 grams of fiber in a scoop, and for me, that's a blessing. I need a little bit extra fiber. I'm not ashamed to talk about my digestive issues on here. So this has been a product that I have just started using every single day, and I'm almost done my first tub. And that's when I felt like I could actually share it with you because I needed to have I really needed to know that it worked for me and it was something that I wanted to share with you. So I'm not a person to come on here and just talk about products willy-nilly, but this company is one that I really stand behind, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I was able to connect with them as an affiliate, and I have the code Jessica that you can use for 10% off of everything in their shop, and I will be transparent, something that I would make commission on if you were to use that code. So know that I have a few more products that I do want to share with you of theirs, but for right now, I'm sticking with one, and it is the Reds Superfood Glow Getter Reds Superfood Powder. I will put it all in the show notes for you to be able to check out if this is something that interests you. But it has been a lifesaver this cold and flu season just to give me that little extra boost of antioxidants that I need. And it's a staple, an everyday staple in my house now. That being said, I'll take another sip of my Reds, and we will get into the juice of today's podcast episode. The discomfort in your self-discovery journey and your confidence journey. I think we have this vision of the glorified, confident women that we look up to and that we see them and we're just like, wow, they have their style figured out. They have their business figured out. They have all the things, like their life is totally figured out. And I just want to remind you that for most of these people, myself included, we only get to see snippets of their life. We don't get to see it all. We don't always really get to see the hard times. We just get to see the highlight reels on social media. So if you're comparing where you are in your life at your low points of the day to someone's high glorified points that they only choose to put on social media with their perfect kids and their perfect Christmas decorations and their perfect everything, I just want to remind you it's rubbish. It is often a mask for a lot of things. So before we even dive deep into what this topic is, if you're comparing yourself to anyone else, especially someone on social media that you don't know all the pieces of their life, we got to reevaluate that. Because what you're doing is setting yourself up for failure and setting yourself up for even more discomfort on this journey. Where you are now, the beginner phase of self-discovery, of self-confidence, of wherever you are and what you're working on, is exactly that. It's the beginning. It's where you're starting. Remember that when you started walking? I don't know if you remember when you started walking. I sure don't. But we fell a lot. We made mistakes. We were messy. And the world cheered for us as we took our first steps. The world doesn't really do that anymore when we start a new project, unfortunately, unless you're in something like the Sisterhood where we will cheer on absolutely everything for you. But if you're not in there, check it out. I'll put the information in the show notes too. We're a place where you can just be cheered on for taking a few steps and getting uncomfortable. But the beginning phase is always awkward. And for me, I always want to be like the best beginner. I actually hate, and Glenn, my husband, always gets frustrated with me on this because I think I should be the best like day one. Like I want to be number one, the fastest runner, the best business owner, the everything. If I'm going to do it, I want to be great at it. And that's not the case. That's not the reality. It's actually really messy and really uncomfortable. And the whole process gets just like, ugh, especially the beginning. So if you're sitting down, you're comparing yourself to someone who's been doing this for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it's going to look different. I dare you to scroll back to their day one and see the comparison there. Because we grow as we get uncomfortable on this journey. And so in particular, I wanted to talk about your confidence journey. And if you're in that middle phase where you're not necessarily a beginner anymore, you've been on this journey for a few months, but you're not necessarily where you want to be, the person that you've been looking up to, that person, the higher version of you that you're just like, oh gosh, when I get there, man, I'm going to feel so dang good. You're in the middle. That middle phase is actually just such an uncomfortable place to be. And I have a few clients who are in this phase right now, and I think that's why it's really on my heart to dive into this topic, because you're figuring things out. Nothing feels like it's right, and it would be so much easier if you just threw in the towel right now. Because you can't totally see the outcome that's coming because you're still in that mucky middle mess. If that's you, I just want to say I'm so freaking proud of you for starting something, for putting yourself out there, for working on yourself, even when you know it's not going to be easy. The thing is, there's something about the self-discovery journey that we think we're going to get to a final destination. And I'm slowly learning that that just never comes to an end. We're never 100% healed. We never 100% have ourselves figured out. We're never 100% confidently ourselves. It is something that we work on and have to choose to work on every single day. So that higher version of you that you've been looking up to, that you're just like, I can't wait till I get there, unfortunately, isn't really going to happen. Because I know when you get there, you're going to look at a new higher version of yourself with bigger goals and bigger visions and more dirt that you need to work through and discovery and confidence that you need to work through. And it just never really happens. And I don't say that to discourage you. I don't say that to be like, you're never going to get there. Ha ha ha. You might as well give up now. The thing is, you're going to get so much closer if you don't give up. If you actually put the work in, you put the reps in, and you do the things that you've been wanting to do, you ask yourself the hard questions, you put yourself out there in ways that you never thought you would, you're going to get closer and closer to that beautiful version of yourself that you've been looking for. And you might hit the version that you have in your head right now as that higher self. But what I mean is that when you do become that version that you've been looking up to for so long, oftentimes we even just like skip over the fact that we've hit this huge goal of becoming the version that we always dreamed of being by setting new goals and new things that we really want in life. I actually notice that a lot in myself. I'll skip over hitting these goals and skip over celebrating those things that I have wanted and just look for the next thing. I should be like, oh, but, I didn't hit that many downloads on the podcast, or, I didn't, host that big event, or I didn't sell out this or anything, right? There's so many pieces that we crap ourselves on instead of focusing on the fact that we've come this far. I want you to look back on the prior version of yourself and wonder what it is that they'd be thinking if they looked at you right now. And I know doing that might bring up some feelings that maybe they'd be disappointed. Maybe they would be. But I think that tells you something. If a prior version of yourself would be disappointed in where you are right now, and don't be harsh on yourself, be realistic. If a prior version of yourself would be disappointed in where you are right now, then it's time that we make some changes. Because maybe you're disappointed in where you are right now. And if that's the case, that's normal. It's also a part of that middle phase that's just really uncomfortable because it is not linear. We're not going to go and just keep growing and growing and growing. I was actually talking to my husband about this the other day because sometimes when it comes to this podcast, I just think it should be growth all the time. And it's not. It's messy. Some months are really good and some months are really hard, and sometimes there's great content and sometimes it's shared a lot and sometimes it's not. And it's just this up and down roller coaster ride when it comes to putting yourself out there. Your self-discovery, the business that you have, whatever it is that's on your heart, it is not going to be perfect. And if you walk into this thinking that it is, that middle phase that you're in is going to be even more uncomfortable. But here's the thing. If you're in that middle phase right now, that you've started something and you're just like, wishing you were further along, you had this goal and you're not hitting it, believe me, I understand. I'm with you. There are so many goals that I had on my list for this year that may not come to light as we are 2 weeks until the new year. But I just want to remind you, you have two options. You can give up because you didn't hit your goals this year and the in-between phase is just way too hard to handle, or you can keep going. You can keep getting uncomfortable, you can keep pushing through, and you can get closer to that version of yourself that you have been dreaming of for a really long time. You can choose the easy road, give up, or you can choose the hard road. I actually think both of those roads are really hard. Throwing the towel in is also really, really hard because it's giving up on your dreams. And I know a lot of people who listen to this podcast, You're dreamers. You have ideals in your heart. There's things you want to do. There's things you want to be. There's so much potential in you. So I truly doubt that you're the type to throw the towel in. So I guess we're going with the other hard. The hard of messing up. The hard of going through this period that's just going to be questions and deeper dives and a lot of tears and confusion. So much confusion. This in-between phase is actually the best phase because it's where you build your character. And one of the analogies, and I think we talked about this on the episode with the girls that I went to Empower Her Live with, we talked about the little turtle. And I still love this analogy so much because I think it puts this in-between phase, that messy phase that we're in right now, the phase that we wish away so often. We just want to get to the final destination. The analogy of the little turtle, the baby turtles. And what I loved about this visual, I feel a lot of emotions as I bring this up. What I love about this visual is that it's one that I experienced in Barbados in real time. This is a normal thing. It happens annually where the baby turtle nests would hatch. And there was one day that Glenn and I went to the beach, and it was a beach that we didn't normally go to. And there was a few people there, and they were just like, hey, there's baby turtles over there. You should come check them out. And I am like a nervous person. I'm just like, no, I don't want to get in the way. I don't want to go over there. And Glenn went over because he doesn't think about that stuff like I do. And he's like, you really got to go see these baby turtles. They're so cool. And so we went over and we were able to watch the baby turtles hatch and some of them go to the water. And again, like the visual that happened at this event that I went to Empower Her Live earlier in the year was to not help the turtles to the water. It was actually really important that you don't help the turtles get into the water. You can watch over them if you want. You can be there. You can keep an eye, but don't touch them because if you do, if you pick up that beautiful baby turtle that is struggling so hard to get to the ocean and you put it in the ocean, it doesn't have the strength to survive living in the ocean. It doesn't have the strength to understand how to move its legs and use its muscles, and it will not survive. And I just thought, like, as soon as I heard that, I was just like, oof. We always wish away this period in the middle that is so uncomfortable and it is so messy, and I do it all the time. I don't want to be in this period. I just want to be at the final destination. I just want to be in the ocean. But nobody can pick me up and put me in the ocean. Nobody can pick you up and take you through this uncomfortable, messy period, because if they do, you're not going to know what you're doing. You're not going to be strong enough. You're not going to have a sustainable business. You're not going to have any confidence on this journey because you didn't put in the work. If I were to pick you up, you beautiful little baby turtle, and plop you into that end goal that you have, you're going to be a total flop. You're not going to have the skills that you need to be the successful version of yourself, to be that higher version of yourself that you've been dreaming of. And I think when it comes to this messy period, we really, 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 really want to wish it away. Believe me, like we really want to get to that final destination. We want to check the box. We want to be successful. But you are successful as you are right now. You are successful because you chose to try. You are successful because you woke up today. You are successful because you chose to show up for your life and to do something. And even if you didn't get out of bed today and you're listening to this podcast and you're just like, I didn't do any of those things, Jess, you're successful because you're alive. You're successful because you opened your eyes. You are enough exactly as you are right now. So I want to remind you that even in this messy middle period, wherever you are, where you just don't feel like you're far enough along, like you're doing enough, like you are enough, you sure as heck are. You are. You're successful. And if you want more, that's okay too. Because I think society tells us that we need to love ourselves exactly as we are right now and that we're perfect just as we are and blah, blah, blah. You are. You are successful. You're beautiful. You are enough today. But if you want more and you want to keep pushing and you want to get uncomfortable and you want to be in this messy zone, keep freaking going. Do not give up because you're uncomfortable. Don't give up because you're not feeling confident. Don't give up because it's freaking hard. It's going to be hard. And I really do hate to break it to you, it's going to be hard for a long time. As someone who finished the year of confidence, I told people the year of confidence never really ended. It goes into 2.0. There is never an end date on growth and on your growth. So you're going to be in this uncomfortable period for a really long time. But you're going to feel a lot better with where you are now if you keep going. You're actually going to look back on a prior version of you and be like, what? I've come so freaking far. I'm doing the dang thing. It's not perfect. I'm still uncomfortable, but I've got growth, baby. I am successful. I am a bright light in this world, and I'm showing up for my potential. And maybe you won't say those exact words, but I will say them for you, and I will remind you of that. So if you're in the messy period, in the middle, and you just need a little reminder to keep going, send me a message. Connect with me on social media. You can find me at jess.clerk. You can share this podcast episode with a friend. That means the freaking world to me when you do that. I light up so much when I see you tag me in your shares. It just really does give me a little boost and help to remind me of this in-between messy period that I am, that I'm going somewhere, that it's making a difference. And I'd love to be able to do that for you too. So send me a message and let me know what it is that you're working on, what it is that you're feeling a little messy in and uncomfortable in, and how I can support you to feel better about where you're going. It's not going to be perfect. It's really going to be uncomfortable for a long time, but I promise you, it's worth it. It's worth so much more than you throwing in the towel, than you giving up on your dreams and taking what I think is another hard road. Choose your heart here. I hope you have an awesome day. I am so grateful that we could connect today. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend or on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me grow this community and get my message out there. And don't forget, you deserve to embrace your truth. It's time to live life your way.